A Member of Parliament at 31, Minister of State for IT and Communications at 37 and seeking a third consecutive term in Parliament in election 09. It's been a meteoric political career for the Scindia scion, Jyotiraditya Scindia. A Harvard and Stanford graduate, Jyotiraditya left a career in investment banking to plunge into politics when his father, Congress MP Madhavrao Scindia, died in an accident in 2001. A minister in just his second term in Parliament, Jyotiraditya initiated Project Arrow in 2008, an initiative to modernize the postal services in India. A people's leader, Jyotiraditya is the third generation Scindia to represent the Guna constituency in Parliament. Thanks very much for joining us on the show. What is this election really going to be about? Because the last one was about the Aam Aadmi, it was about inclusive growth. I'm not going to get into a report card on the economic situation just yet, but what essentially is this election going to be about?
First of all, thanks for having me, Shireen. And can I have a look at your questions?
Yeah, no, you can't. They're not questions anyway.
I think it's going to be a continuation of our growth story. It's going to be a continuation of our emphasis on ensuring that the upliftment of the poor, bringing them into the mainstream. It's going to be about involvement of youth. The very fact that that's our true wealth in our country today. 70% of this country is below the age of 35, bringing them into the mainstream. And it's going to be about actually ensuring that we are able to harness India's potential over the next 5 years.
So what are the new ideas? What is the new prescription in that sense? What are you offering voters as a choice? Because every time an election comes by...
What we're offering voters as a choice is it's rather contrarian to what you talk about on a daily basis, which is the stock market. But it's really talking about the fact that look at our past performance.
But you spoke about the stock market when it suited you, when it was at 22,000. Everybody in the government was happy to talk about the stock market.
You didn't understand the relationship that I was talking about. Look at our past performance, and that should be an indicator of our future performance as well. And that's why I brought in the relationship with the stock market, which is not normally the case. But in our case, the fact that we've posted growth rates of close to 8 to 8.5% over a period of 5 years, the fact that we've brought in place schemes that could not have been conceived of by, let alone any government in India, but any government in the world. The National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme, which covers today 600 districts, 20,000 crores devoted to that, which ensures employment as a safety net for people. The loan waiver scheme, 72,000 crores devoted to that, which has never even been thought of by any other government in this country. In addition,
you know, as far as the NREGS and the social sector schemes are concerned, the government is pretty much across the board being given a thumbs up. But let's talk about the other economic reforms, and I want you not to be politically correct. Are you satisfied with the pace of reforms, given the fact that you came in at a time when the economy was booming? Just take infrastructure, for instance. We've heard all sorts of figures, from $500 billion to $540 billion, but actually on the ground, how much has really changed?
A lot has changed. Look at your airports. Look at the progress that we've actually been able to achieve on highways, on roads. A lot has changed. But the fact is that we are living in a reality of coalition governments in our country, not today, but for the last 10, 12, 15 years. And therefore, in that context of a coalition politics, you may not be able to achieve as much as you would want to in as quick a manner as you would want to achieve it.
Why not then put together an economic agenda that you actually truly will be able to deliver on? Because, you know, the promises are not
But actually, Shireen, if you look at the manifesto, the Congress manifesto in 2004, and what we had promised then, we have actually achieved much more than what we have promised. And if you look at our manifesto today, I have full confidence that given a chance, we'll be able to achieve much more than that as well over the next 5 years.
Okay, talk about the unfinished economic reforms, pension reforms, insurance reforms, retail. How much of this is actually going to go through? How much of it is going to be...
There are some compulsions of coalition politics that you can't work on, but I think it's important to look at the assets as well as the liabilities. There may be reasons why the liabilities are showing up as liabilities. Much of it has to do with coalition politics, but there's a huge asset bank as well in terms of what we've been able to achieve over the last 5 years. In terms of our programs, never before has this country seen the huge amount of concentration that has gone into health, the huge amount of concentration that's gone into the area of education, the schemes that have been propounded, the schemes that have actually been delivered on the ground. And I've seen that because my constituency is a rural constituency in Madhya Pradesh, and I've seen that actually happen in rural areas all across the state.
Okay. What are voters telling you? You know, you fought your bypoll in 2002, you fought another election in 2004. As you start your campaign this time around, how different are the aspiration levels? How different are the expectations? How different are they judging you?
My effort has been to be able to deliver much more than I had committed to prior to the last elections. And I've tried to do that, whether it's in my constituency had a major issue with regard to a bypass in Guna because there was truck traffic going through the city every day and killing youngsters every single day. I built that out in a period of 19-20 months. It's a 70 crore project. Other health sector projects, infrastructure, power, as you talked about, with the Rajiv Gandhi Gramin Vidyutikaran Yojana in all 3 districts. So my platform and my agenda has been actually development and progress, and I've tried to do my best in terms of taking all central government schemes to my constituency. And now the verdict is out.
We saw the verdict being out as far as Madhya Pradesh was concerned in the assembly elections. It didn't go your way.
The assembly elections were not good.
Yeah.
Disappointing to say the least.
What did you win? Was it largely on account of infighting, or was it because you failed to live up to the promise? Or the fact that you failed to actually offer a new prescription to the voters?
I think there were a number of factors that go in. But clearly the BJP government had failed on many counts. I think we weren't able to carry that message to the voter convincingly enough. I don't think we were able to carry our agenda to the voter convincingly enough.
Isn't that the problem, that there's too much emphasis and focus on what the incumbent government has not done or has failed to do, as opposed to what you can offer in terms of a new deal?
Maybe we failed in terms of being able to deliver that in a convincingly enough manner. That being said, there's always room for improvement, and I think we need to do a lot of soul searching. We need to make sure we present a very cohesive game plan going forward.
Speaking of a cohesive game plan, you know, the fact that we've got a fractured mandate, the fact that a lot of regional parties are now really calling the shots at the centre as well, what does that really do to a national vision?
Regionalism has come to the fore in India. In a way that's good because regional aspirations are being met. In a way it's bad because, as you said, it becomes more difficult to focus on the national game plan. But I think that's what leadership is all about, Shireen. I think it's very important to be able to balance regional aspirations as well as be very focused and committed on national planks, national issues.
Okay, speaking of aspirations being met and the balance of power between the centre and the state, your ministry, for instance, one of the most controversial in the past 12 to 14 months. I'm not going to get into those controversies, but the criticism is that the decisions weren't being made in Delhi, and you've been awfully silent about everything that's gone on.
I don't think that's correct. We've introduced mobile number portability, MVNOs. We've introduced prepaid calling card systems. The IT department has a very, very ambitious national e-governance program, which is on track. It's almost about 14 to 15,000 crores. We're setting up close to 1 lakh community service centers, which will be located in villages. My ambition is that they should be located in post offices, because that's where my passion is.
Yeah.
But having said that, I think what Rajiv ji had envisioned with the STD and the PCO box as being a tool of empowerment of communication as well as employment, I think the community service center through the 1 lakh CSCs will be very much like that. The postal department is my passion, and we've actually through Project Arrow reformed close to about 5,000 post offices, and presenting a new 22nd century product to what was earlier 6th century product. So I think we've repositioned ourselves, and I think the delivery pipeline and the distribution pipeline that my postal department has, there's no other department in government in India that has a distribution pipeline.
Since you are talking about Project Arrow, you know, it's interesting because this was something that everybody had given up on, because, you know, especially us in the metros, with your Blackberries and your mobiles and so on and so forth. But you've really connected all of the dots together, and you're thinking more on lines of a rural hub, aren't you?
Yes. Yes.
And how close to reality is that going to be? Because as you pointed out, you know, companies may take a while to actually buy into the idea.
Well, you'll be surprised. We've actually taken Project Arrow from ideation to execution over 9 months across close to now 5,000 post offices. So it's been a Herculean task, and I must, the credit for this goes to no one else than the department, my department and my postal employees that have actually completely shifted gears and looked at doing things in a different manner.
And one wouldn't have thought that an umbrella allowance or a shoe allowance would really incentivize people, but it does. It's small things like that that make.
But it's important because when you have a workforce of 3.5 lakh people that have not been cared for the last 50 years, they feel disenfranchised. And it's important, if you're actually repositioning a department, then the first thing you need to do is you need to bring that energy in at the grassroots level.
You're talking about a bottom-up approach.
It has to be.
Government functions top-down, doesn't it? And that is the sad truth of the reality.
But I think if you looked at what Mahatma Gandhi wanted us to achieve, what Rajiv ji wanted us to achieve, was actually turning around this country from the grassroots level up.
But we haven't seen that happening. And isn't that a frustrating part of the political system?
Let's stop criticizing. Let's actually make that change happen. Mahatma Gandhi said we must become the change we want to see in the world. So let's make that change happen.
Is there room for you to maneuver and make those changes?
This country is built on entrepreneurship. And if you have the right spirit and the passion is coming not from here but from here, you can make that change happen. I firmly believe that.
So is it the age of the political entrepreneur in that sense?
It should be, because I think everything, and I
you
think
represent that. You breed in that sense, don't you?
I think in a lot of ways we are being made to change, and I think that's good, because only when the pressure comes from the public that politicians change. And I think that this new India that we're looking at over the last 15-20 years is certainly putting the pressure, and I think it's very, very good, and I think we need to change.